Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Um, a situation arose which I originally wasn't going to make a video about, but um, based on some thoughts I've had recently, I just want to talk about, I guess, my feelings on the subject. So, if you pay any attention to BookTube, as it were, about a week or two ago, a booktuber was accused of sexual assault. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to name him or his accuser. In some ways, that's sort of irrelevant. If you do YouTube booktube stuff on a regular basis, you probably know who I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't need to look it up. It's not necessarily about that. I took a step back. I was like, okay, the booktuber in question put out a video stating he had been accused. Um, he admitted to having had an affair. That it was a year ago. His fiance knew about it. They discussed it. They'd worked through it. He said the allegations were false. So I decided to. It's like, you know what? We've the Neil Gaiman stuff is still fresh in everyone's mind. I took a step back. I wasn't a huge fan. I wasn't a subscriber. I had watched a couple of his videos from time to time, so he would occasionally pop up in my feed. I probably watch like one of his videos a month, and he puts out, you know, 3 or 4 a week. So it's not, he wasn't like I'm not like a huge supporter of him. I took a step back because I know that allegations are just that. I didn't want to jump all over him in case he was innocent. I figured his innocence or guilt would come out eventually. I wasn't going to say anything about it. Like I said, I wasn't a subscriber, so it didn't impact my viewing habits. Just, you know what? If it turns out these allegations are true, I will never watch anything he does ever again. If they're false, fine. He'll be exonerated, and I will go back to watching him as often as I usually do, which is once or twice a month. And in the last couple of days, some things have come out that may exonerate him. He may in fact be innocent. The allegations looks like they may be false. And there have been a couple of videos. There's been one by him and other YouTubers who kind of like had responded to the allegations in their own way. Some of them jumped all over him. Some of them were just coming at it from an explanation point of view. It's like, he's a big name in the booktube section of YouTube. He's a well-known book reviewer. He's gotten the chance to interview some famous authors. He's lost thousands and thousands of subscribers. He's, people who he knew in the industry have pulled back from him, yada yada yada. So like some people are making like reactions to his supposed innocence. And I found that I just can't even bring myself to watch any of it. Again, with the Neil Gaiman situation, it's just, I'm kind of exhausted by these types of things happening. Now, I wasn't a huge admirer of this person, but I did think he was a decent guy. He seemed nice enough. He was energetic. He was friendly. He seemed to have good relationships with everyone around him. Something which Neil Gaiman, he had also had that similar thing, similar relationship with the public. And I'm just kind of mentally worn down by it. It's not just this person. It's not just Neil Gaiman. It's all the people that I found out were just complete pieces of shit. That I used to admire. And just, I don't know. I don't know what to do. But, finding out that an author that you like, who's written some of your favorite stuff, is a bigot or a racist or anti-Semitic, or finding out that one of your favorite animators who wrote some cartoons that you and your kids used to love, a sexual predator. Find out some of your favorite musicians had a thing for underage girls. Just all of this. The musicians, the artists, the actors, the directors, all of these, just all these people that I've, you know, whose work I've admired, and some of whom I have looked up to and admired as individuals. And just having one more of them brought down. And even this wasn't even someone I admired, really, not strongly, at least. I like I said, kind of admired him because I thought he did a good job at I watched him because I started watching him because of the Wheel of Time series on Amazon. I thought he was able to give an honest comparison to what they did well. That was why I started watching his stuff. Because when the show came out, I was too huge of a fan of the books to think I could be objective about it. And I thought that he was one of the few people online that I saw that was as much of a fan of the books as I was, maybe more so, who was able to take his love of the books out of it and give an objective view on what they did right. So I admired him for that, at least. The fact that he was capable of doing that, something Iowan is not capable of doing. So yeah, I admired him for that, for at least that aspect of himself. That I thought he was a good reviewer of media, of shows and books, and that's why I would occasionally watch him. So oh, there's this book coming out. What does he think of it? Look for the non-spoiler bits, and or an Amazon show or whatever. But he's not like the Beatles. He's not like someone who I worshipped as a child. Finding out that the Beatles did that individually, some of the Beatles did some not good things, which is true. Not quite on the level of this, just some occasional douchebaggery moments, which we all have. I'm not sure if I can hold it against them permanently, because it wasn't a consistent thing. It was just on occasion they were, didn't behave well. But the author who will not be named. Someone I thought I admired. It turned out to be a bigot. And Neil Gaiman and all of the others. It just kind of culminated in this one thing. And it's just, I'm so tired of having people that I like, people whose work that I like, and finding out they're awful people. And I mean, it all comes back to the simple thing of I just want to enjoy my stuff and not have to worry about whether it's going to support someone who's awful. And I know that there's no way I can completely eliminate the environmental or human harm that we do. It's all about mitigating the damage. And I'm just exhausted by it. I really am. I'm sure I will eventually, if his response and the other people's response is that these allegations are in fact false, I will probably go back to watching his stuff once or twice a month like I used to. It's only been a short couple-week break anyway, so it's not like it made a big deal. But for the moment, I'm just exhausted. Good hunting.